Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So guys, it is officially the last video of the month of June, which means REP Season 2 is over. We're going to be starting REP Season 3 in July in the great state of Texas within a couple of days or so. It's going to be pretty epic. Content is going to be better than ever before, you could say. But from here on out, I wanted to do a final video in which I would be explaining to you guys why 2022 would be a red wave election. This is going to be the final episode. Technically, I don't really keep track of the seasons, but it seems like, season 1 was the start of the channel until early 2020. Season 2 was the summer of 2020 until essentially now. And this is it. And season 3 is going to be starting with, I don't know, possibly the Texas documentary within a few days, and then we will go to the new REP HQ from there. But up on the screen, I have the current delegation of the U.S. Senate. Republicans are at 50 seats. Democrats, technically at 50 seats, they have the edge because Kamala Harris breaks the ties in the Senate. But could Republicans expand? I did a video on the top 5 most crucial battlegrounds last video. Now I wanted to explain why Republicans are going to do well in the midterms, not just in the Senate, not just in the governorship, but the House as well, and even things like state legislatures. They're going to do even better there. So from this point forward, we're going to analyze this. We're going to start off. Here is 5 reasons why we're going to see a red wave next fall, which is pretty much sooner than we'd expect, really. It's already June. Within a couple of months, it'll be November 2021. We're going to have Virginia. We're going to have New Jersey in terms of the gubernatorial elections. And from there, we are going to have a year before 2022, so we're already seeing candidates announce, and it's incredible to see. But we are really moving forward here. We're moving fast. And the good news is a lot of the damage that Biden has done to this country, he's already done, because legislatively he's not passing much through with Manchin and Sinema. And if Republicans take back the House and take back the Senate, he'll be pretty much done outside of his executive actions, and essentially he could be a lame duck if Republicans play their cards right, which you can never expect them to do. But still, here are 5 reasons why 2022 is going to be a red wave. We're going to start off here. We're going to start off with number 1. The incumbency disadvantage, you could say, because it seems as if the only disadvantage that incumbents really have is that the party out of power almost always has a massive energy factor working on their side for their benefit. And you could see this here. I mean, every time there's a Democrat president, typically they lose roughly 30 seats in the House. Republicans lose roughly 30 seats in the House when there's a Democrat president in there. I think that Republicans under Trump and Paul Ryan, which a lot of it was Paul Ryan's fault, they lost 42 seats or so. Even if, Paul Ryan wasn't in there, they still would have lost seats because Democrats were energized. Republicans, when Obama was president in 2010, they gained 63 seats. That was the Tea Party. And we're polarized to the point where I think that waves are not going to be that big, but I still believe that, 40 seats is technically possible. Obviously, it's not going to be like 1994, in my opinion, but could it be like 2018, but the inverse? Absolutely it could. Now, obviously, there have been anomalies. Bush's approval rating was in the 70s because of 9/11. Republicans actually gained a few seats. Wasn't by much, but they only really did that because of the fact that Bush had a 75% approval rating. Even if Biden's approval, which I don't really trust the election mafia polling, but even if it's they say it's at 50 or 51, he's still going to lose a bunch of seats and Republicans are still going to win the generic ballot. Based off of this fact alone, it's history. In terms of the Senate, things are a little bit more complicated because different seats matter. Obviously, Republicans got whacked nationwide in 2018, but they still won 4 Senate seats. All of them were in states Trump won. However, 3 of them were in states Trump won by 20 points or more, or some ridiculous margin like that. So if Republicans were able to just barely hold on to Missouri by 5 points or so, and take it away from an incumbent, you could only imagine what they could do in a swing state. Obviously, if you look at swing states, they even couldn't, flip Ohio or West Virginia or Montana. Obviously, I think they'll all flip in 2024, but keep in mind, places like Arizona, Nevada, they weren't really able to hold on to. But now you see the fact that Republicans have the energy factor, they may be able to run up the margins in some of these swing states, and you're going to see. So that's step one. Step two is the economy. Biden's approval rating, not the best typically on the economy. Now, obviously, you're going to say, but you said you can't trust the approval polls. Well, the thing is, within those polls, typically he's not as good on the economy as he is on other things such as COVID relief, which by 2022 is not going to be the most pressing issue, most likely. So the fact that you have gas prices going up, unemployment rate is stagnating, and there's really no sign of a strong economic recovery, gas prices topping $3 a gallon, they're not going down. Is it all Biden's fault? Maybe not necessarily, but the fact that he hasn't really done anything to stop it really, in a lot of people's minds, will say, hey, wait a minute, let's put a check on this guy's power, or conservatives are going to look at this and be more motivated to vote than a Democrat is going to look at this and be motivated to vote to keep Dems in power. That is important to understand. The economy, we're not exactly in the best shape right now. Are the stock markets going up? Is that good for retirements? Sort of, but it's not, it's not rising like skyrocket like it was in like 2019. And you're coming off of a recession too, so you think it'd be doing better than it really is now. So the economy worked in Trump's favor in 2018. It's not going to work in Biden's favor. At best, it's 50-50, and that's if things go right between now and then. But other than that, the economy, that's reason number two. Reason number three is redistricting. Republicans gained, I think it was a net 3 electoral votes, 3 congressional seats automatically in certain states. And a lot of these states that are getting congressional districts, those are going to be Republican. The states that are losing, they may have to draw out some Democrat districts. So redistricting works in their favor. They control more state houses. People are going to say, well, that's not exactly fair. Well, it doesn't matter if it's fair or not, because that's the way it is. And cope and seethe, I guess. That's what I would have to say. But either way, I'm just being objective here. The Republicans have the advantage in redistricting. If Democrats had the advantage and they had the state houses, they'd be doing the same thing. Because if people are going to say, well, Ohio's super gerrymandered, okay, look at Connecticut, look at Maryland. There's a lot of Democrat states that are not exactly in the best shape in terms of how the districts are drawn. But Republicans technically have a little bit more of an edge with making the maps look a little bit fairer because rural areas don't really vote Democrat anymore. But that's a little beside the point. Issue 3, redistricting, that will be one of the reasons why there's going to be a red wave. So they'll probably already have the House when you factor that out, and then they could just start adding seats. There was a 538 report that said Democrats would have to have a 10% advantage in the popular vote to even retain the House. I don't think that that's really the way it's going to work, but I think Republicans are going to win the generic ballot anyways. But even if they lose it by a point or two, they still will likely take the House back and the Senate. So up next, number 4, exploitative issues are going to work in the Republicans' favor. I know we talked about the economy, but in terms of things like taxation, and this was a part of the Tea Party, obviously taxes, not my number one issue, assuming I'm not going to be hit by a tax burden. But beyond that point, a lot of people don't like to see their taxes go up at all. Biden's plan does that for some people, even if it's, people making above $250,000 or whatever it is, because it does affect everybody when you adjust for all the factors. But immigration, the border crisis, Texas, Arizona, that's going to energize Republicans down there more than anybody else. And it seems as if Trump has pushed Kamala into a corner on the issue, which is a massive W for him, rhetorically speaking, and the Republicans as a whole. Education, critical race theory, which essentially teaches our children that the only race that you can be critical of is white people. Education, Republicans are actually taking the lead on that for once, which is a very, very good thing. And big tech, I think, is another one. You talk about these big tech companies. It seems as if Republicans are going to have more populist candidates running this cycle, and they are going to look into big tech. Hopefully, you could say hopefully. Now, obviously, we'll see what happens at the end of the day, but we're getting the ball rolling, rhetorically speaking, on these 4 issues, mainly big tech. That's a new one, obviously, but education, immigration, and the economy is still important. But those are going to be the top 4 issues at the moment, in my opinion. Maybe Democrats will manufacture some more BLM outrage, and you could include that in there, and that would benefit the Democrats. But as of right now, the right has the edge on all four of these. Maybe the economy you could say is 50-50 based off of like number one issue, because some Dems will support the economy for like relief or whatever, but that's going to be less of an issue then than it is now. So Republicans have the advantage on those issues. That's the fourth reason. The fifth reason is this guy right here, and for better or worse, because first of all, he's not in the ballot, but his movement lives on. And will kind of have this ability to like be the successor of the Tea Party that makes the Tea Party look like an actual Tea Party. And from there, as a result, Donald Trump's movement and the movement that he created is inspiring generations of leaders to rise up. A lot of them are running for Congress. You've got great candidates, people like Joe Kent, and Trump is making the right selections in some of these open seats as well. You know, Ted Budd in North Carolina. We'll see who he endorses in Ohio. But it seems as if Donald Trump is going to play a pretty epic role in this, where he is going to campaign and energize Republicans. However, he's not president, so he's not going to energize the opposition as much as he did in 2018. So it's kind of like you get the best of both worlds with Donald Trump in 2022. And as a result, Republicans are going to cruise to victory, I do believe. And they may be able to ride that momentum to a second Trump term that will start in January of 2025. We'll have to see. But it seems as if everything they've tried to do, they've tried to silence him most recently with a lot of the recent bans. They've kicked him off of everything. They've ostracized him, but the movement's still there. And is the energy where it was in 2016? Not at the moment. But if he keeps the momentum going, it is inevitable. And he will get there. And I feel as if he sees a massive wave in the House, then he'll decide to run in 2024. If Republicans have an abysmal showing, then maybe he won't. But don't tell the Democrats that. I don't think a lot of the people who will vote really understand that. But that's my theory on the issue. But those are the 5 reasons. 1, the incumbency factor being negative to Biden. 2, the economy is sort of slow. It's not really in the best. Obviously, if you have a recession, we could be talking about a 60-seat wave. 3, redistricting. 4, the issues seem to favor the GOP, at least where the narrative is going in terms of energy. And 5, Donald Trump campaigning and why that's a benefit this cycle more than it would be any other cycle. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.